Peace. This is Jakim from the Hard Talk with Jakim show. You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter at The Real Jakim. That's at The Real Jakim. Remember, no punks allowed. Peace.
All right, peace and blessings, y'all. It's a great Tuesday evening. Yes, we're closing out the month of March here in 2023, and Tuesday the 28th. Listen, man, I've got a lot of stuff to get to today. We're going to get to foster care. We got a great guest on today. Man, Sister Leticia is going to give you a lot of information that you can use, whether you're in Delaware or not, around the country. We're going to get into the foster care system. But before we do that, let me give you a heartfelt prayers, and I want to do more than just give a heartfelt prayer to the shooting that happened just recently in Tennessee, y'all. And let me give a big shout out to the young lady who was 28 years old that decided to take on Fox News while they're doing it live. And we'll be right back. Check out this video. Just check out a little bit of it, y'all. Peace.
Aren't you guys tired of covering this? Aren't you guys tired of being here and having to cover all of these mass shootings? I'm from Highland Park. Family vacation with my son, visiting my sister-in-law. I have been lobbying in D.C. since we survived a mass shooting in July. I have met with over 130 lawmakers. How is this still happening? How are our children still dying, and why are we failing them? Gun violence is...
All right, y'all. Yes, gun violence is rampant in our country. We have gone crazy with this. So let me just say this real quick, y'all. We need to do something about it. And to that end, I am going to, as soon as our guest gets back, we're going to hit the information about foster care. Now, I know you have a lot of questions about what's going on in foster care. How can I get involved if I have the time or the resources? This is going to be one of those times where you're going to be able to answer those questions. So what we're going to do is make sure that you get your information and get that in. So now we have our guest back, and let me just bring her on. I've known her for such a long time, so we've known each other for such a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Miss Leticia Mack. Peace and blessings to you, sister.
Peace and blessings. How are you this evening?
I am all right. I know when you got in contact with me, the first thing I wanted to say was, how's the family doing? I remember your son. Oh my God, he's such a joy. I always love that energy they have. And now you have another one too?
Yes, I have a 3-year-old daughter now. My son is 11 now, so we've known each other for a very long time.
Yes. And when you contacted me, I was so happy to hear from you, because I know you're doing fantastic and great work out there. And I know doing my emails this week, I just heard from a lot of people who want to learn a lot about foster care, and you're the lady to go with. So name your organization that you're with, Leticia.
So I work for the CASA program, which is Court Appointed Special Advocates Program of Delaware. We are housed under the Office of the Child Advocate, which is a state agency. And we are, CASA is a national organization as well. So for those who are not in Delaware, it is in other states as well.
Yes, I saw that, and I actually went to the website and to just get some reference and some promo on the information there. And yes, it's all over the United States. I saw that they have it. So if somebody wanted to, well, let me just go to the first question that I got from my email. Let me just go to, if somebody wanted to be a foster parent and the vetting process, how complicated is it?
So there are background checks. There's a training and things that you have to do of that nature. But I'm going to just put this out there right now. So we do not do foster parent training. CASA, CASAs are volunteer advocates from all walks of life. You don't have to have a specific background, who advocate for children who have been abused and neglected and are now experiencing foster care.
All right. Listen, that's fantastic work. I thank you for that work. So your organization is mostly just volunteer.
Yes, so I am a CASA coordinator and recruitment coordinator. So what I do is I supervise the volunteers that we have, as well as other coordinators in our organization. But I work statewide to recruit more volunteers because unfortunately, the number of children coming into care continues to increase, but we do not have enough volunteers for the demand.
Now, with what does it entail to be a volunteer with CASA? And here in Delaware or in other states, I'm sure, like we said before, probably a lot of these things, or some things may be different, but a lot of things may apply to your state as well. What is required?
So you must be 21 years of age or older. And like I said, you do not have to have a specific background in child advocacy or child welfare. Our volunteers come from all walks of life. You just have to have the heart to want to help children and the time. Many people think of this and they hear, helping kids, and it can be, pull on your heartstrings, but it's worth it. We do ask for a 1-year commitment because you do have to advocate for these children in court. So once we receive a case, these children have been taken from their families because of abuse and neglect. We then receive the case, and parents have up to 1 year to work on their case plan to try to get their children back into their care. So we ask for a 1-year commitment for that, and to basically just be available for that child. Only 10 to 15 hours a month. And I know.
Okay, that was another question. 10 to 15 hours a month.
10 to 15 hours a month. And I'm going to be honest. In the beginning, it may take a little more than that, just because you're building that rapport with that child or children in your case. You're getting to know all the parties in their lives. So you may be getting to know the parents, and definitely the foster parents. You're getting to know their teachers, their counselors, their mental health providers, whomever's in this child's life, so that you as a volunteer can advocate effectively for that child and that child's best interest.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, do you have to take the child? You don't have to take the child in your home, or do you have to take them to places, or how is that? Or is this like supervised guardianship?
So actually, CASAs do not transport children. When you're doing your visit, you can visit them in the community. More often it's in the foster home. There may be times where, depending on the relationship with the foster parent, you can meet at McDonald's, you can meet at the park, wherever, that child is comfortable and you're comfortable as a volunteer. And we only ask that you see that child face to face 1 time a week during the month. However, in between, you want to make sure that you have contact, whether it be via phone or FaceTime or Zoom or whatever the case may be. You want to keep contact and make sure that child is feeling safe and comfortable where they are.
Well, you know what? That sounds, because, I've had people contact me and thinking that we're talking about being foster parents. And no, we're not talking about being foster parents. What we're talking about is being an advocate for the child. Is that correct? That's correct. And, I think a lot of people can get into, and I don't understand why we're having a problem with recruitment. Are we having a problem with recruitment, or is it just the volume is going up? No, we're having a problem with recruitment, believe it or not. Excuse me. And I think it's because people, when they think or hear about this, first off, many people don't know we exist. That's the first thing. They don't know our program is even a thing. Right. So, just spreading the word is the most important thing. Secondly, I believe when people hear that you're advocating for a child and it makes such an impact in this child's life, sometimes people can get a little eerie of their abilities. But believe it or not, anyone and everyone, again, as long as you have the time and you have we train on the spot. So, we do training. So again, anything you would need, we can do for you, and we're here to help. Well, you know what? You have in 5 minutes understood and gave me an understanding that I hope a lot of people out there will definitely be a part of. If you got the time, man, I can't see what is more important than advocating for children. That's what we do here at the Heart Talk with Jakim every day. We advocate for people. We definitely advocate for children. I can't see why you wouldn't do it to advocate for them. The other thing that I had another question, someone asked, do you have to write reports and to give it to the court based upon what you see with the child in the foster care or any other situations?
So, excuse me one moment. I hear my
I hear that little one. I hear. I got you. Yeah, we'll be right back. So while we're waiting for sister to get right back, and you know I hear that little one in the background, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not even an epidemic anymore with the shootings in our country. It's even more than that. It's more of the culture that we have. All right, we'll be right back. Sister Letitia's right back, and we're right back again. So again, I think I left off on the question of what is it, about reports and going to court.
Absolutely. So yes, there will be a report. However, the report is an internal report. So we work as a triad. So when we have a child, there's a triad, which is a CASA volunteer, a CASA coordinator, such as myself, and a child attorney. So each child who comes into care receives a child attorney. But again, not every child has a CASA volunteer to advocate for them because we don't have enough. So we work as a triad to advocate for these children. And within the 2 weeks before each court hearing, we ask that the volunteer complete it's just a simple Word document updating us of what happened from between each hearing. How's the child doing? What are their likes and dislikes? Have they spoken to family members, whom they've contacted, things like that. And normally the volunteers are already keeping in touch with us almost weekly, sometimes more anyway, so we know this information. But it's always good for that attorney to have that information in front of them when they're in court.
Oh man, that sounds fantastic. You have to be over 21 years old. Is that correct?
Yes.
Well, you don't want 18-year-olds to do it. That makes sense. And you're asking for a 1-year commitment, and
yes.
Most of these children have either been abused or neglected, and that is the tragedy of this system. And I don't know how much is your intake? Are you getting like 30 more children every week, or what are the numbers looking like?
So it varies, but I can tell you that every year the number is continuing to rise. And from 2020 into 2022, there was a 14% increase in the number of kids coming into care.
Wow.
And already this year, we've had, it just being almost not even 4 months in, we've had a flux of kids coming into care.
And listen, I know y'all do fantastic work. As former law enforcement, I used to see the end result when no one cares for a foster child or any child. The end result is the penal system and incarceration. So you know that it is important for us to have somebody advocating early and often for these young children. The other thing that I wanted to know in Delaware, and we're just going to make it specific on this particular thing in Delaware. The court system, usually you're having people advocate, for people that's in Newcastle County or Kent County that actually live there. You're not really going down to advocate for somebody who lives in Newcastle County to go down to Georgetown in Sussex, are you?
So we cannot guarantee where a child will be placed. So although it may be a Newcastle County case, that child may be placed in Dover, for example, because that may be the only placement that is available. That's another thing with the foster care. With foster care, there aren't enough foster care homes as well. So as you can see, it's a cycle. So we try our best to, you know, partner a child with an advocate who is in the same county, but it just doesn't always work out like that.
Yeah, that's really a terrible situation there for people. It's not believe me, if you want to do the work, you're going to do the work. That's regardless. But it's a terrible situation that we don't have as many foster care parents as well. Not even just your CASA volunteer advocates. We're talking about the parent system as well, because it seems as though is a lot of abuse and neglect are happening just the way the country is going. When drug use goes up, more abuse and neglect in the foster care and more children in. Yeah, I feel you on that one. You know, before we take our first break, I got a couple of videos I want to show them, and I'll be right back. The foster care, this organization, CASA Delaware, seems like an organization that you would get more lawmakers in the state of Delaware to be a part of or try to help. I don't know, is this a 501c3 or is this a private organization?
So we are actually a state organization. We are a nonprofit state organization, if that makes sense, but we are not a 501c3.
All right, so this is one of those public-private partnerships, kind of like our DART bus system here. We'll talk about that later. But private-public partnership. So you do get funding from the state of Delaware.
We do get some funding. However, a lot of our funding does come from grant money. And we also receive funding from just anyone who wants to donate. There's a donation line that we have, and 100% of the funding that we receive goes to the children experiencing foster care. And what we do with those funds, it could be anything from buying birthday gifts, or if they need a pair of sneakers, or for our seniors, for senior class pictures, for them to go on their senior class trips. If they want to go to prom, we pay for everything from the hair to the nails to the dress, whatever these children may need, so that they can have some type of quote unquote normalcy and still be children.
Right. Well, I tell you, we've got a little bit. We've gone through a lot of it. We've got a lot of more to go through. We're going to be right back with Letice Mack from CASA Delaware. Not only are we going to be back with her, we're going to ask her those other questions about the ages and all that. But we'll be right back. We've got a couple of videos, and we'll be right back with the Hard Talk with Jakim show. Peace.
Everyone does not include.
Black people are the overwhelming victims of hate crimes, with many of them being committed by the police. Every false arrest, imprisonment, assault, and murder the police commit against a black person are not merely misconduct. They are hate crimes.
Whenever you have a combination of alcohol, guns, drugs, egos.
Ego is very, very.
Hold on, let's not forget about the two most deadly diseases in our community, envy and jealousy. You have a combination or a cocktail where somebody's bound to get hurt. So what I'm teaching my mentees right now is that there's a such thing as being in the wrong place at the wrong time. When you're in an arena and there's alcohol and things are beginning to escalate, it's time to go. Mm-hmm. It's time to go, because bullets ain't got no names.
Peace and blessings, y'all. This is Jakim from the Hard Talk with Jakim show. Listen, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why I'm holding up a... All right, y'all. So listen, we wanted to just get a couple of those things in real quick. Just the other day I was on a dark bus, and they talked about some shooting that happened in Wilmington. And of course, the first thing is, why were you there? I don't understand why you was there. Just don't get me wrong. You right now in Philadelphia, Chicago, and other big places like New York and here in Wilmington and Delaware, we having a lot of daytime shootings. But when it's 2:00 in the morning, I don't understand why you're out there. Derek Muhammad just had that on, and He's absolutely right. We got to get out of those situations. Listen, we're back again with Latice Mack from Casa, Delaware. Now, again, she was breaking it down for us, and I love that she broke it down so simple that even I can understand it. So it's beautiful that she broke it down simple on why we need more volunteer advocates for this foster care system to help advocate for young children. Now, one of the questions I got earlier when I was promoting the show was, is most of your children teenage age or preteens, or are they just babies and toddlers?
We actually serve children from birth to 18 and sometimes to 21.
Wow, to 21 as well. Wow. And this means that you are definitely need a lot of advocates for that situation. You have to, we're going to put the number, we're going to give all the information right now. So if you're watching this on YouTube the next day, or you're watching it on Facebook Live right now, we're going to get that information out to you right now. So grab yourself a pen, grab yourself a paper, or get your laptop out. Now, the first number that you're going to give so they can get in contact with Casa Delaware is
302-255-1730.
1730. Okay, that's 302-255-1730. Do they have to ask for anybody in particular?
When they contact, that will be the Office of the Child Advocate. They can ask for myself to give a call back, or for Lauren Bruckner to call back. She's the statewide training director.
All right, that's Lauren Bruckner. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
All right, my tongue is getting tired. It's been a long day. Listen, we're going to go right back over and go over this information, so that if you're in Delaware and you want to be a part of Casa Delaware, they would love to have you as a volunteer advocate. Now, before I do that, I've got to be remiss to talk to the fans of the Hard Talk. As you can see, I've got some of my mama's artwork because I'm at my mama's house right now, because Verizon did me dirty. Verizon does not have internet service in my area, and I'm a beef about it. And I'm going to tell you right now, they're telling me that my internet service is going to be back on tomorrow. Bad job, Verizon. Shame on you. So, okay. So, again, the number for Casa Delaware, 302-255-1730. And that's for the child advocate. Now, you've already heard Latice tell you right now that they need volunteers. If you want to care about our youth and the future of this country also is in the hands of children that go into foster care. So we cannot leave anybody behind. So if you have some time and you want to be a part of this and you want to advocate for them, I guess they're calling me now on my other phone. What can I say? You can definitely get in contact with 302-255-1730, and that's Casa Delaware. And so, listen, I'm telling you right now, this is a great program to get involved in. Latice Mack will hold you will hold their hands and get them through this.
I will.
Am I right?
I will.
Yes.
And if they would like to email, if email is better for some people, they can email Casa Program at delaware.gov.
All
you
right.
will always receive a response either way.
CasaDelaware.gov, is that correct?
Casa Program at delaware.gov.
Casa Program. I have no idea why this phone is going off so crazy. Can you believe that? It's like, can you hear that?
I hope it's for me.
Yeah, I hope so. They are. You know, since we have so many people that are politicians and just nosy wannabes and trolls that watching me all the time. I love my trolls. Let me just say this, yo. The trolls, when I see some of your comments on YouTube, and I love you. Stay hard, stay knuckleheads. I love it. I appreciate it. But this is a program, again, Casa Delaware is a program that you should be a part of if you have the time. It's not. It's only a. They're only asking for a 1 year commitment, man. 1 year commitment. Let me advocate for you for a second. They only want a 1 year commitment. Do the 1 year commitment. It may be something that changes your life and maybe change the direction of someone else's life that is important. So that this is important to me. I love that. Now, before we go any further, I will ask you real quick. Now, when you have to go into the courts, depending on what particular county it is in Delaware, and remember, just make it apropos for your particular part of the country. When you go into the courts, do the courts take weight to what the advocate has to say for the child?
Absolutely. You are the voice of this child or these children. You are absolutely heard. The judges take your suggestions very seriously because you are the ones working directly with this child. You will know what's in their best interest. You will know what this child wants. You'll know their needs because you're going to build that rapport with that child. So the judges absolutely depend on you to be that voice for that child.
Oh, that's fantastic, Latice. You know, this is one of the reasons where this is one of those times where you can have a positive effect on someone's life. And I have just question. I know this doesn't really, I guess it does go with what Casa Delaware does. How many of the foster parents adopt, and how many of the biological parents get back their kids? Do y'all have those numbers?
I do not have those statistics. However, it does happen. There are parents who absolutely do whatever they have to do to get their children back. And then there are some who unfortunately do not for whatever reason. And oftentimes it is because of the drug epidemic, unfortunately. And then there are foster parents who do adopt. And I'm actually, one of my cases, I have an adoption coming up in June. And it makes your heart happy because you know that you've done the work and you've helped the child.
Right.
You have a better life for it.
Right. And this is very important. You know, when we were talking about this, you know that on the Hard Talk with Jakim show, I mostly talk politics, civics, and all the other great stuff. But today, no politics here. We're going to just talk about this in particular, Casa Delaware, this organization trying to get the volunteer and the advocacy up. We want more people to be a part of this organization because it's doing great work within the community. And when you're helping children, and let's be honest, children, toddlers, adolescents, babies, and even you heard Latice say that they go up to 21-year-old. You're affecting the future of our great country and of our state of Delaware. So I would advocate that you be a part of this. I don't know if y'all have any. Do you do fundraising or do you do fundraising events?
So we do try to, however, because of our, I guess you can say, status, we are unable to directly do fundraising, but we can piggyback off of other organizations. So if there's someone out there listening and you have a church affiliation or another group organization and you would like to partner with us, I'm always looking for partnerships as well. So I would really appreciate if you would reach out to me for that also.
Yes, I'm glad I brought that up. You're absolutely right. Yes, bring that up. You know what? You can get, the more that you get out to the public, the more they know about the program and the requirements for the program, because it doesn't seem like the requirements are that hard, but you got to have a loving heart and to do this type of work. And
of course, because we're working with children, we do a background check. Let's put that out there.
Oh, yeah, sure. You got to be vetted.
You got to be with children, yes.
Yes.
And also, like I mentioned earlier, we do a training. So there's a 30-hour training. 15 hours would be as if you're in, let's say, an online class setting. And then the other 15 is the in-person training.
All right. Excellent. Man, this is fantastic. Today I'm going to do a shorter show than I normally do because we're talking about a specific topic. We're not really going into a whole bunch of videos and commenting about them. I really want Casa Delaware to bring up their numbers for volunteers, because this is important work for all of us. It affects all of us, because if we don't get some advocates for these children, guess where there be? You already know the incarceration rate in this country is staggering. We lead the world in incarceration. And I'm telling you, all of this is a triangle effect. All of this affects everything else. So before we leave today, we want to just one more time, I thank Letice Mack to come on the show and talk about Casa Delaware. I want to break it down to the simplest form, and I want to break it streamlined. You can get in contact with Casa Delaware at 302-255-1730, and that's for the child advocate. You actually, I think you said Lauren, is that correct?
Yes.
Lauren
or myself.
Lauren or Letice, they will be happy to vet you and take you through the process if you're interested in being the advocate for the smallest victims in our society, and those are children. The ones that have the least amount of voice, those are children. So if you want to be an advocate, I would advise you, especially here in Delaware and around the country, I would advise you to get in contact with Casa Delaware or the Casa in your particular state or municipality. Again, I would like to thank Letice Mack from Casa Delaware for joining the Hard Talk with Jakim. Listen, I'm supposed to have thank you. I'm supposed to have a show Friday because I'm going to get raw and raunchy on Friday. But we're going to probably do something on either OnlyFans. Yes, that's right. You can see Jakim on OnlyFans. No, I'm not getting naked. I just curse a lot. Don't worry about it. I'm getting it. But you can also check us out later on in April on Fanbase. So again, I would like to thank Letice Mack from Casa Delaware for being on the Hard Talk with Jakim show. Do you have anything else you want to say to the public before we leave?
I just want to say that you may be that one stable person in a child's life to make all the difference. So please consider it. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. You calling is not an obligation. It's just an interest, and we appreciate the interest. If it's not for you, maybe it's for someone else. So please spread the word.
Yes. And remember, 24 to 48 hours, the team will have this up on YouTube. You can always check this particular program or anything that we do with the Hard Talk with Jakim show, or at Delaware Info Now, the Delaware Info Now. I'm going to send out the link on our Facebook and Instagram and TikTok page. And this has been the Hard Talk with Jakim show with Sister Letice Mack. And Letice, you are joy. Now, before we leave out of here, we're going to have a young lady try to explain to you what woke is. She wrote a whole book on what woke is. She don't know what woke is, but she wrote a whole book. She's conservative. Check out this dumbness. And I'll see you on the flip side on the Hard Talk with Jakim show.
If Americans consider themselves very liberal, and probably fewer of them consider themselves to be woke. And so, when we talk about traditional,
what does that mean to you? Would you mind defining woke? Because it's come up a couple times, and I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
So, woke is sort of the idea that this is going to be one of those moments that goes viral. Woke is something that's very hard to define, and we've spent an entire chapter defining it. It is sort of the understanding that we need to totally reimagine and redo society in order to create hierarchies of oppression. It's hard to explain in a 15-second soundbite.
Yeah, look, your time.